Welcome again. So we are live now. So please comment how many students have joined us. Yes, Pulak. Very good. So we are live once again. And yes, Minky, Anuj Sharma. Okay. Okay, guys. So yes, Lakshmi Durga. So in this session we will discuss about animal tissue, and first of all we will discuss about tissue. So we have already told you the group of cells. What do you mean by tissue? Group of cells which are same in origin and functions is known as tissue. So there are two conditions. Okay, all group of cells are not called tissue. That group of cells which are same in origin and functions is known as tissue. Let me explain. Suppose this is a cell and this cell divide to form two new cells. Suppose. Further, this cell also divide to form two new cells, and also this cell also divide to form two new cells. So a group of cells are formed, and suppose all the cells perform similar function, then this group of cell is known as tissue. So group of cells which are same in origin means all cells are arises from this single cell. Okay, this single cell. So that group of cells which are same in origin and functions is known as tissue. Is it clear or not? Tell me. Definition is clear or not? So same in origin means all cells are developed from, originated from, arises from this single cell, and function also same. So that group of cells which are same in origin and functions is known as tissue. Now we will discuss types of tissue. So tissues are of mainly four types. Number one, epithelial tissue. Number two, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and nervous tissue. So tissues are of four types. Okay, we will discuss one by one. So first of all we are going to discuss the epithelial tissue. Clear? Epithelial tissue. So if you talk about the epithelial tissues are those tissue which forms outer covering of the body or outer surface of any organ. Okay, such as very simple example is, very common example is skin. Our skin is a type of epithelial tissue. And what is the function of this epithelial tissue? The function of epithelial tissue is protection. It protects the organs or body. Okay, so suppose if the question is which of the following tissue protects our body or organs, your answer should be it is epithelial tissue. An example of epithelial tissue is our skin. If you talk about the skin, then you should remember some interesting points about skin. Skin is the largest organ of the body. Skin is the largest organ of the body, and a study of skin is known as dermatology, and doctors are called dermatologists. Clear? So largest organ or largest external organ of the body is our skin. But largest internal organ, if you talk about the largest internal organ of the body, then tell me what should be your answer. So suppose if the question is largest organ of the body, your answer should be skin. But if the question is largest internal organ of the body, then your answer should be liver. Okay, so liver is the largest internal organ of the body. But if you talk about in general, it is the second largest organ of the body. So liver is, because largest organ of the body is skin, liver is the second largest organ of the body, or largest internal organ of the body. But liver also acts like a gland, it also functions like a gland. So liver is the largest gland. Okay, if you talk about the largest gland, it is liver. Clear or not? So please remember all points, very important for your exam. So if you talk about the epithelial tissue, it forms outer covering of the body or outer covering of any organ. And what is the function? Function is protection. and example is skin. Now we have connective tissue. As name indicates, the function of connective tissue is connection. It connects one organ of the body to another organ. One organ of the body to another organ. So function of connective tissue is connection. Now we will discuss the types of connective tissue. Types of connective tissue. If you talk about the type of connective tissue, then first type is areolar tissue, adipose tissue, tendon, ligament, cartilage, bone and blood. Bone and blood. So bone is also a tissue, but what type of tissue? It is a connective tissue. So suppose if the question is bone is a tissue, which type? Connective tissue. Blood is also a tissue, but which type? Blood is a fluid connective tissue. So we will discuss blood in detail in this topic. So if you talk about the connective tissue, what is the function? It connects one part of the body to another, such as, if you talk about the areolar tissue, it connects our skin to muscles. So suppose if the question is which of the following tissue or which of the following connective tissue connects our skin to muscle, your answer should be it is areolar tissue. And very important, adipose tissue. This question has been asked in various competitive examination a lot of time. Which of the following tissue stores fat or lipid? Fat or lipid? Your answer should be adipose tissue. So what is adipose tissue? It stores fat or lipid. And one more important type of connective tissue is tendon. It connects muscles to bone. It connects muscles to bone. So areolar tissue connects skin to muscles, but tendon connects muscles to bone. And if you talk about the ligament, it connects bone to bone. It connects bone to bone. So suppose if the question is which of the following connective tissue connects bone to bone, your answer should be ligament. Suppose this is a bone and this is the another bone. This is the another bone. So a band of ligament is present between these two bones which connects two bone. So this is ligament. This is your ligament. So ligament connects bone to bone. Is it clear or not? Clear? So ligaments connect bone to bone, and a stretch in ligament or injury in ligament is called a sprain. Tell me. Very painful. So a stretch or injury in ligament is known as a sprain, and a sprain is very painful. Okay. Now we have another type of connective tissue, that is cartilage. Okay, cartilage give flexibility to our body. Okay, and it is found at nose tip. Okay, so this is made up of a cartilage, very flexible. It is also present in our ear pinna. This is, so our ear pinna, that is external ear, is made up of cartilage, very flexible. See, this is cartilage. Okay, clear? So it is found in nose tip, ear pinna, and at the base of at the ending of long bone. So suppose this is the ending of this long bone, so tip or at the ending of long bones, cartilage is present, which makes the joint flexible. So this is your cartilage. Okay, this is cartilage. So it provides flexibility to the joints. Okay, so this is cartilage, and these are the band of ligament which connects bone to bone. Is it clear? Okay, very good. So if you talk about the types of tissue, then we have epithelial tissue, we have connective tissue, muscular tissue and nervous tissue. In this session, we will discuss only about epithelial tissue and connective tissue. We will discuss muscular tissue and nervous tissue as a separate chapter, separate topic. We will discuss muscular tissue as a separate topic, muscular system, and we will discuss nervous tissue as a separate chapter, nervous system. Okay, so in this session we will discuss about epithelial tissue and connective tissue only. Okay, so cartilage. So these are the types of connective tissue: areolar tissue, adipose tissue, tendon, ligament, cartilage, bone and blood. Okay, so we have already discussed about areolar tissue, adipose tissue, tendon, ligament and cartilage. Now we will discuss about blood, and we will discuss bone as a separate topic in a skeletal system. So don't worry. Okay, so we will discuss bone in a skeletal system. we will discuss muscular tissue in muscular system, we will discuss nervous tissue in nervous system. So in this topic we will basically focus on blood, which is a type of connective tissue. Clear or not? Yes. So now let us start with blood, which is a type of connective tissue. So what is blood? Tell me. This is very super duper hit question, and this question has been asked in various competitive examination a lot of time. What is blood? So this is the answer. Blood is a fluid connective tissue. Connective tissue because it connects all the body parts, even all cell to another cell, each cell to another cell. So it is a connective tissue and it is present in liquid state. So it is a fluid connective tissue. Yes, Vishwa, very good. Connective tissue having hemoglobin. Yes, Rajesh, you are absolutely right. Very good. Now, one more important thing is a study of blood is called hematology. A study of blood is called hematology. And if you talk about the pH, then pH of blood is 7.4. Acidic or basic? Tell me. Acidic or basic? Human blood is acidic or basic in nature? Acidic or alkaline in nature? Tell me. No. If pH is 7, then it is neutral. But here the pH of blood is 7.4, so it is basic. But which type? More basic or slightly basic? It is slightly basic. So if in option basic, slightly basic, then we will give priority to slightly basic, or you can say it slightly alkaline. So human blood is basic, slightly basic. We will give priority to slightly basic. Yes, Rajesh, very good. If you talk about the volume of blood, then normal volume of blood is 5.5 to 6 liter. So suppose if the question is in human being, normal blood volume is 5 to 6 liter, 6 to 7 liter, 7 to 8 liter. Your answer should be it is 5 to 6 liter. How many percent of weight of the body? 7% of weight of the body. 7% of weight of the body. Okay. And one more important question, this question also very important. Blood does not clot or coagulate inside the body or inside the blood vessels due to presence of chemical. The name of chemical is heparin. So suppose if the question is blood does not clot or blood does not coagulate inside the body or inside the blood vessels due to presence of which one? Heparin. So heparin prevent blood clotting. So you can say heparin is anticoagulant. Anticoagulant means it prevents blood coagulation. Anticoagulant. So suppose if the question is anticoagulant present in our blood is heparin. And what is the nature of heparin? It is a protein. So heparin is a type of protein which prevents blood clotting inside the blood vessels. So heparin is an anticoagulant. Is it clear or not? If clear, please comment. Clear, clear, clear. Clear. Yes, very good. Pradeep. Pulak. Yes, very good. Now we will discuss about components of blood. Okay, components of blood. So if you talk about the components of blood, then blood is composed of two parts. Number one, plasma, and number two, blood cells. So plasma plus blood cells is equal to blood. Very important, percentage of plasma in blood is 55%. This data is given in NCERT. So this is the data of NCERT. In option maybe 55 to 60%, but exact data is 55%. So how many percent plasma present in blood? 55%. So blood cells are 45%. And what is plasma? Liquid portion of the blood or liquid part of the blood is called plasma. Clear? So liquid part of the blood is called plasma. If you talk about the composition of plasma, then in plasma 92% water is present. In plasma 92% water is present. So suppose if the question is the maximum part of plasma contains, your answer should be water. 7% protein. So plasma has 7% proteins and 1% glucose, urea, hormones, ions, salts, etc. So suppose if the question is the maximum part of plasma is, your answer should be it is water. 7% proteins are found, 1% in 1% many compounds are present such as glucose, urea, hormones, salts, ions, etc. And we have blood cells. So there are three types of blood cells, and these blood cells are scattered in plasma. Okay, so these blood cells are scattered in plasma, and blood cells are RBCs. RBCs means red blood cells or red blood corpuscles. RBCs are also known as erythrocytes. So please remember the name. Erythros means red, cytos means cells, those cells which have red color. So erythrocytes. Now we have second type of blood cells, that is WBCs, also known as white blood cells. White blood cells, and WBCs are also known as leukocytes. Leukocytes. And we have third type of blood cells, platelets, which is known as thrombocytes. Thrombocytes. So please remember the another name. RBCs are also known as erythrocytes, WBCs are also known as leukocytes, and platelets are also known as thrombocytes. Okay, now we will discuss the function of one by one, function of each and every blood cells one by one, that is RBCs. So first of all we will discuss about RBCs. First question, RBCs are formed in bone marrow. And what is bone marrow? Suppose if we see our long bones, such as our leg bones, hand bones, then in long bones a semi-solid material is filled, and this semi-solid material is called bone marrow. So this is long bones, and in long bones bone marrow is present. Okay, so suppose if the question is RBCs are formed in, your answer should be it is bone marrow. If bone marrow is not in option, your answer should be long bones. Long bones, clear? Okay, but if you talk about the fetus, then bone of fetus is hollow, there is no bone marrow. So suppose if the question is in fetus RBCs are formed in, so in general RBCs are formed in adults, RBCs are formed in bone marrow, but bone marrow of long bones of fetus is hollow. So in fetus RBCs are formed in liver and spleen. Okay, so liver is present in our right side of the body, okay, in abdominal cavity, and spleen is present our left side. Okay, so we have our diaphragm, and below the diaphragm stomach is present, and between diaphragm and stomach we have a very small organ which is known as spleen. So suppose if the question is bone marrow, RBCs are formed in, your answer should be bone marrow. But suppose if the question is in fetus RBCs are formed in, your answer should be it is liver and spleen. Clear? Clear or not? Clear? Now we have another question for you. RBCs count. What is the normal RBC count? It is 5 to 5.5 million per ml of blood. So if we have 1 ml of blood, then 5 to 5.5 million RBCs are found in 1 ml of blood. 5 million in female and 5.5 million in female. So RBC count is 5 to 5.5 millions per ml of blood. So 5 in female and 5.5 in male. Okay, if you talk about the lifespan, then it is 120 days. So question is, what is the average lifespan of RBCs? It is 120 days. After 120 days, death of RBCs occurs, and dead RBCs are destroyed in liver and spleen. That's why spleen is also known as graveyard of RBCs. So suppose if the question is which of the following organ is also known as graveyard of RBCs, your answer should be spleen. Why? Because dead RBCs are decomposed in liver and spleen. So why only spleen is called graveyard of RBCs? Because destruction of RBCs takes place both liver and spleen, but maximum destruction takes place in spleen. That's why spleen is known as graveyard of RBCs. If a spleen is not present in option, suppose, and question is which of the following is known as graveyard of RBCs, your answer should be liver. But if liver and spleen both are in option, we will give priority to spleen. Clear? One more important thing, a spleen is also known as blood bank of the body. A spleen is also known as blood bank of the body. Tell me why spleen is called blood bank of the body? Why spleen is called blood bank of the body? Why spleen is called blood bank of the body? Because during severe injury, when a lot of blood loss takes place, during this situation, spleen stores some amount of RBCs. That's why it is known as a blood bank of the body, because body draws blood from the hair in emergency. Yes, Anuj, you are absolutely right. So in emergency situation, it stores some RBCs. Okay. Yes. So please, you just remember, guys, spleen is also known as graveyard of RBCs. Spleen is also known as blood bank of the body. Now, next point. RBCs contain hemoglobin. RBCs contain hemoglobin. And what is hemoglobin? Hemoglobin is a red pigment. And what are the pigments? Pigments are those substances which have specific colors. Without pigment, color is not possible in living world, such as color of skin is black. Due to presence of a black pigment in our skin, which is known as melanin. Okay, red color of blood is due to, because a red pigment, hemoglobin, is present in blood, and this hemoglobin is present in RBCs. What is hemoglobin? So hemoglobin is an iron containing pigment. Iron containing pigment. Okay. And what is the function of hemoglobin? We have already discussed in the chapter of respiration. It takes part in transport of oxygen. It is the carrier of oxygen, and one hemoglobin molecule can carry 4 oxygen molecules. So one hemoglobin can carry 4 molecules of oxygen. So one molecule of HB can carry 4 molecules of oxygen. Okay. So suppose this is RBC. This is RBC. If you observe RBC, then you can see RBC only contain a red pigment, and this red pigment is known as hemoglobin. So what is hemoglobin? It is a red pigment. It is a red pigment. So suppose if the question is red color of blood is due to, your answer should be hemoglobin. If hemoglobin is not in option, your answer should be RBCs. So the red color of RBC is due to hemoglobin. Okay. And due to this RBC, blood is red. Okay. So suppose if the question is red color of blood is due to RBCs, if RBCs are not in option, your answer should be hemoglobin. If both are in option, we will give priority to hemoglobin, because due to hemoglobin, RBCs are red, and due to RBCs, blood is red. So red color of blood is due to hemoglobin or RBCs. But what is the chemical nature of hemoglobin? So hemoglobin is a protein. Which type of protein? Which contains iron. That's why it is called iron containing protein. Hemoglobin is an iron containing protein. Clear? Okay. One more important thing about hemoglobin, in mature RBCs, suppose this is RBC, red blood cells. So in cells, various organs are present. Nucleus is present, mitochondria is present. We have already discussed the cell and cell organelles. So RBCs are also a cell, red blood cell. But if you see the RBC, if you examine RBC, then you can find that RBCs only contain hemoglobin. So why it is called red blood cell? Why it is called red blood cell? Because without nucleus, there is no cell. So when RBCs are formed, let me explain. When RBCs are formed, all cell organelles are present like other cells. It contains nucleus, it contains mitochondria, it contains lysosome. All cell organelles are present, but during maturity, all cells becomes destroyed. It only contains hemoglobin. So suppose if the question is mature RBCs does not contain, if the question is mature RBCs does not contain, your answer should be nucleus and other cell organelles. So in mature RBCs, nucleus and cell organelles like mitochondria, lysosome, ribosome, all are absent. It only contains hemoglobin, so that transport of oxygen takes place very easily. Okay, so RBCs are absent in nucleus is absent in RBCs. Clear or not? Now we have WBCs. Next cell organelle is WBCs. It is also formed in bone marrow. If you talk about the WBC count, it is 6,000 to 8,000 per ml according to NCERT 11th class, and lifespan is few hours to few days. Few hours to few days. Few days means 1 to 3 days or 1 to 4 days. Okay. They are also called soldiers of the body. So WBCs are also known as soldiers of the body. Why? They provide immunity to the body. And what do we mean by immunity? The capacity of our body to fight against diseases is known as immunity. So if any microorganism, if any pathogens enters, if suppose, what do you mean by pathogens? Disease causing agents. Any disease causing agent commonly called pathogens. So what do you mean by pathogens? Disease causing agent. Disease causing agents are known as pathogens such as bacteria, virus, protozoans. We will discuss in the chapter of health and diseases also, don't worry. So bacteria, viruses, protozoans, fungus can cause disease. So they are collectively called pathogens. That's why study of disease is called pathology. Okay, so if any microorganisms enters into the body, okay, they will be destroyed by WBCs. So WBCs protects us against diseases. That's why it is called soldiers of the body. So they provide immunity to the body. Okay, and if you talk about the types, then there are two main types of WBCs. Number one, monocyte, and number two, lymphocyte. Okay, monocytes are the largest WBCs of the body. So please remember, largest WBCs of the body is monocyte, and smallest WBCs of the body is lymphocyte. And what is the function of monocyte? Monocytes directly kills the microorganisms. So it directly kills the microorganisms. If any microorganism enter into the body, they directly kills. Okay, and if you talk about the lymphocyte, lymphocytes secretes a chemical. This chemical is known as antibodies. Okay, and antibodies kills the microorganisms or pathogens. Okay, so the first is monocyte, which is the largest WBCs. It directly kills the microorganisms, and lymphocyte secretes a chemical which is known as antibodies, and this antibody kills the pathogens. So please remember. Now we will discuss about the platelets. It is also formed in bone marrow, and the platelet count is 1.5 to 3.5 lakh per ml of the blood, and its lifespan is 5 to 8 days. And function, what is the function? It takes part in blood clotting. But if you talk about the blood clotting, then what is the requirement? What are the requirements of blood clotting? The first requirement is platelet. Second is vitamin K. This question has been asked in various competitive examination. Which vitamin is necessary? Which one is necessary for the blood clotting or coagulation of blood? It is vitamin K. Also we have fibrinogen and prothrombin and a metal, that is calcium. So this question also asked in various competitive examination. Which of the following metal is necessary for blood clotting? So these are the requirements. Number 1, platelet. Number 2, vitamin K. Number 3, fibrinogen. Number 4, prothrombin and calcium. Okay, 5 to 8 days. Lifespan of platelet is 5 to 8 days. Yes, Naresh, we have granulocytes, A granulocytes. Okay, A granulocytes. We have a lymphocyte, monocyte, eosinophils, basophils. Okay, but two are very important. So you just remember these two types, that is monocytes and lymphocytes. Okay. The question is fibrinogen and prothrombin, which are necessary for blood clotting, they are formed in. Tell me, fibrinogen and prothrombin necessary for blood clotting, they are formed in. Tell me, Naresh, Pradeep. Rajesh. Okay, so fibrinogen and prothrombin, which are required in blood clotting, formed in liver. Very important. And what is the nature? They are protein. So fibrinogen and prothrombin are the proteins, a special type of proteins which are formed in liver and take part in blood clotting. Okay. Now we are going to discuss the blood groups. Blood groups was discovered by Landsteiner in 1900. Okay, and there are four types of blood group: A, B, AB and O. Okay, so let me explain. If Landsteiner, when Landsteiner examined the blood, then he found that some chemicals are present in blood, and he named the chemical antigen, and antigens are of two types, A and B. So antigen A and B, and also we have another chemical antibodies, and antibodies are of two types, so antibodies A and B. Now the question is, antigens are found in, so antigens are found on the surface of RBCs and antibodies are found in plasma. And what is the chemical nature of antigens and antibody? They are proteins. So again, antigens and antibodies are proteins. So on the basis of presence and absence of these two chemicals, means antigens and antibodies, Landsteiner divides the blood in four categories, that is A, B, AB and O. We will discuss later. So please remember that antigens are of two types, which is present in blood. Which part? It is found on the surface of RBCs. Antigens are of two types, antigen A and antigen B, and antibodies are found in blood plasma, and it is also two types, antibodies A and antibodies B. Okay, and what do you mean by RH factor? The full form of RH factor is Research factor. And the question is, RH factor is related with which of the following animal? Related with monkey. So what is RH factor? In 1940, Landsteiner and Wiener examined the blood of a monkey. It is a species of monkey, that is rhesus monkey, and found that on the RBCs of rhesus monkey, a special type of antigen is present. A special type of antigen is present, and he named rhesus factor, that is RH factor. Okay, rhesus, RH factor. So RH factor is an antigen like antigen A, antigen B. It is also an antigen, and it was discovered by Landsteiner and Wiener in rhesus monkey. Okay, so like antigen A and antigen B, RH factor is also an antigen. Okay, it is also known as RH antigen or RH factor or rhesus factor. So we have three types of antigens. Number one, antigen A, antigen B and RH factor, which is also antigen. So on the presence of these antigens, we have two systems of blood group, which is clinically important. Number one system is ABO system of blood group. According to this system, we have four types of blood groups: A, B, AB and O. AB positive is called universal receiver and O negative is called universal donor. Okay, O negative is called universal donor. So O negative can receive blood from any person, and AB positive can receive, and O negative can donate to any person. Now we have second type of blood group system, RH system. RH positive and RH negative. Okay, so person with RH factor, those person in which RH factor is present are called RH positive, and person without RH factor, are known as RH negative. So person with RH factor are called RH positive and person without RH factor are called RH negative. Suppose if you say my blood group is A positive, it means that according to ABO system it is A, and RH positive means it is RH positive. Okay, suppose if you talk about my blood group is A negative, it means that according to ABO system it is A, and negative means it is RH negative. Okay, so please remember, universal receiver is AB positive and universal donor is O negative. Now we will discuss about blood transfusion. So if you have idea about blood group, then you can transfuse the blood. So if you talk about the blood transfusion, then you have to remember three things only. First thing, antigen A should not come in contact with antibody A. If there is a connection, then clotting takes place. Similarly, antigen B should not come in contact with antibody B. If there is a contact between antigen B and antibody B, clotting takes place. And third point is antigens of donor. Antigens of donor reacts with antibodies of receiver. This is very important point. Antigens of donor reacts with antibodies of receiver. Please remember. So suppose we have blood groups A, B, AB and O. So if you talk about the antigen present in blood group A, it is A. But if you talk about antibody, which type of antibody present in A? It is B. Why? Because if there is a, clotting takes place. Okay, we have already discussed that antigen A should not come in contact with antibody A. So if blood group A has antigen A, so antibody should be B. Similarly, blood group B, antigen is B, but antibodies are A. And if you talk about AB blood group, then it has both the antigens A and B, so antibodies should be absent. Okay, so question is, antibodies are absent in which of the following blood group? It is AB. Why? If A is present, clotting takes place. If B is present, clotting takes place. So antibody B reacts with B, antibody A reacts with A. So antibodies are absent in which one? AB. But if you talk about the blood group O, antigens are absent. If antigens are absent, then antibodies are, both antibodies are present, A and B. Now, if you talk about the A, then it has antigen A, antibodies A, and A can receive the blood from A because blood group is same, and O. So A can receive the blood from A and O. Why? Because O is universal donor. But A can donate to which one? A, same, and AB. Why? AB is universal receiver. Similarly, if you talk about the B, then B can receive B and O and can donate B and AB. But if you talk about the AB, then AB can receive to anyone because it is universal receiver, but can donate only AB. Similarly, O can receive blood from only O, but can donate to everyone because it is universal donor. Okay, so please remember. So this is all about your animal tissue. Okay guys, see you in the next class. Till then, prep smart, score better, go grade up. If you have